8th of May 1940. The worst part of war is not the action itself, the violent one, the rapid one, it is the waiting game. And we are still waiting for the syndicalists to make their move. It is clear that their intentions are to assault, but so far all the French have done is dug in and fortify their position across the border. We don't quite know what the British are up to yet, but the Navy is getting ready. The first Graf Zeppelin class aircraft carriers are about to be completed in May, and they will be the nucleus of the modern second strike group, which means we are going to actually need some planes for these. Right now we are constructing the carrier-based naval bombers and carrier-based close support planes, but we don't actually have any carrier-based fighters, I think. So at this stage, yeah, we're building the Dornier 355T and the FK80T. So we also need a carrier-based fighter. So we may as well go with the improved small airframe that we have available and start a fighter for that. And that is, yes, going to be the Focke-Wulf naval version. Let's see what we can fit in. We do need better engines, so research is required. I think this gives us 37.848. So if we replace that with light machine guns, that's slightly better and on a better thrust to weight ratio. Obviously, Focke-Wulf being the one designing this, and yeah, I think that's all good. So let's get that in. Do we still have a little bit weight left over for self-sealing fuel tanks? We do. And that is the Focke-Wulf 190T, the carrier version of the regular Focke-Wulf, the only difference being that it has the arrestor hooks for landing on carrier decks. So let's save that and get the Focke-Wulf 190T produced as well. All right, that is going to be at the bottom of things, so let's drag that somewhat upwards where it belongs, and we are going to assign a couple of there we go, probably 5 factories to it should be sufficient. But first we actually need to build a couple more military factories. But it's good to get these going. The Bf-109s are just refitting from stockpile. The Focke-Wulf 190s are slowly replacing the older models, and we'll phase them out eventually. And we do have. Do we have a couple of planes? We've got transport planes, we've got some carrier-based fighters. We can actually... No, it's not going to make sense to turn them into air wings just yet. We can probably take the old Küstenfliegergruppe, which is sailing significantly old planes, and decommission that, because I'm not sure this is actually reinforcing with the... which would it be? Because we're building the carrier-based version and not the land-based version. No, we'll leave it there. At some point we might get to actually build the land-based version of it. Yeah. So Germany is ready. And the Ottoman Empire controls most of the center, and one worry I had is the behavior or potential behavior of the Donau-Adria-Bund, because we don't. Italy is somewhat with Italy we have somewhat friendly relations. We do as well with the United States of Greater Austria, but there is still a bit of uncertainty if at some point they might get different ideas. In either way, for now the situation seems stable, so the 7th Army under List can actually move off the Austrian line and can take on positions along the German coastline to defend our ports in case of any surprise naval landings that the Navy will not have anticipated. So let's get at least all the German areas. There we go. That should be all of them. Let's get at least all the German ports defended. Let's see how many we need. 10 divisions. We currently have 5, so another 5 infantry divisions are going to be necessary. I'm not going to get a dedicated port guard division, but I'm just going to use regular infantry divisions to slightly guard the coastline and not overdo it in that regard. All right, I'd say we're set up and ready to go. The missions are in progress, and we're going to have another operative slot open in 18 days, which means we potentially need to. Do we need to create a? We have the European section created. We might have to create at some point a North American section if we want to have an American spy. By the way, we haven't looked at the US for a while, but the combined syndicates are almost done, which means the threat from the north is going to be significant across the Atlantic. And the submarines are going to. We can get the 5th Unterseebootflottille. I can't even speak German anymore. Can get them to run some naval exercises because they have a fair amount of new ships in them. But other than that, the strike groups are ready as can be. The second strike group is still exercising the SMS Moltke, the second von der Tann class, and one of the new destroyers. So we'll leave them for naval exercises for now. But all in all, I will get back when something interesting happens. So on both the Western and the Eastern Front, but especially on the Eastern Front, it's probably not a terrible idea to start improving the supply lines a little bit and just build up the railways somewhat. So I think we're pretty okay supply-wise on this front line here, but in the East it doesn't look too great. Now the front line, because these are not my own supply hubs, so I can't actually use the automatic features to improve the supply situation. But where have we set the? Here. That's where we set the positions here. So along the front line. Which means I can probably go through and just improve by hand the railway connections from Kiev, especially towards the east here, and ensure that we have enough supply for all of these positions. Not particularly interesting, so I'll be right back. I'll just do this by hand. Okay, that should be a decent list of railway projects for the Eastern Front, and overall improve the supply situation for the front lines quite a bit. We do have an infantry division. We are almost done filling up the 9th Army, so that can move over there as well to the east. And then we're back to waiting. We are running lower and lower in fuel, so at some point we are going to have to start importing some oil. The fall of Sacramento. Syndicalist forces have been fighting long, difficult skirmishes with Californian conscripts across the Rockies. Today, their efforts came to an end as they finally descended on the city of Sacramento after a large-scale assault across the American River, it being the capital of California and the seat of the Californian state capital. While not a strategically important city, it signifies a secure syndicate hold over the Rockies, and as the entire Central Valley now opens up to syndicate soldiers, many experts agree that the Pacific States of America would be wise to come to terms with the combined syndicates of America. Yes, the Civil War is about to end, and the Americans are not our friends. So the American theater is going to be a very interesting one. And a syndicalist threat, definitely one not to underestimate. What do we know about the Americans, actually? Not an awful lot. We know that they have a relatively low number of airplanes and potentially a decent-sized fleet, but other than that, we don't know very much. However, the potential of the Americans obviously lies in the long run, so the war in Europe is going to be an interesting one. Improved airplane engines are complete, so we now have... this is still too far ahead, but we now have a significantly better amount of engine power. So I think we can start redesigning some of the aircraft models and get improved versions out. But the next research is going to go into improved medium airframes, and for that I think which one am I using for the Heinkels? Let's have a quick look. Heinkel 1FC is Dornier, so we are going to research improved medium airframes under Dornier. And we can now take a look at the airplane models that we have and basically go through and improve all of them. So let's begin from the top, the Focke-Wulf 190T. This is going to have to happen by hand. So this is the TA model. And do we have enough? Yeah, we have enough XP. That gives us a significantly more thrust, so we can probably put in additional heavy machine guns. Yep, that is going to work. Okay, and we can potentially also put in armor plates. Yes, we could for additional aerial defense. That is going to increase the production cost, but that is the Focke-Wulf 190 TA. Just because it's a carrier-based fighter doesn't mean we can't use it in land-based combat as well. So we're going to get that done. The carrier close air support. Is there anything we can do here short of just upgrading? I think. Could we if we put that to naval strikes, could we put additional bomb locks onto it? Yes, we could. Or we could use no, anti-tank cannons aren't really going to help. So that is the Dornier 355 TA. That's carrier close air, and we have the carrier naval bombers, which I think can't really carry more than one torpedo anyway. So I don't think there's a big reason to upgrade these just yet. The Focke-Wulf 190, that's where it's going to get interesting. So Focke-Wulf 190s are going to follow as well with 3 sets of heavy machine guns and with armor plates. That gives them a good speed and an overall improvement of aerial capability. So that's the Focke-Wulfs. The scout planes don't probably need it. Unless it increases their range, and it doesn't. It just increases their speed and their agility. So I'm not going to bother. The Bf-110s, they can probably benefit from that. Although we are in the process of researching a new frame, so it's probably not worth even upgrading that anymore. How long is that away? 140 days. Yeah, it's probably not worth doing, not worth losing the production efficiency over, and it's going to be the same with the Heinkels. The Dornier 19, however, if we are upgrading the engines and whatever else we have available, can we get an additional bomb bay out of that? Yes, we can, absolutely. So that, and we currently have light machine gun defense turrets. We can switch these to twin heavy machine gun defense turrets, which is going to be even more expensive. So we're probably going to leave that for now. No, sorry, that's what I actually wanted to save that, however. So there we go. Save that. The Condors and the FI-170, I don't even think we should build these anymore. I think, yeah, we're going to decommission these. No. We're going to decommission these. Basic naval bombers, there we go. And we'll pick that up at some point. So now let's go through and upgrade all the production lines. We've got the FK-180T. That is, what can they convert from 355s? Yeah, we don't want that converted. So the 355 is going to go to the 355A. The Dornier 19 is going to go to the DO. Oh, did I not rename that? I don't think I did. That's the A. Rename that. So Dornier 19 to the DO19As. The Focke-Wulf goes to the Focke-Wulf, not the T version, but the regular Focke-Wulf 190A. The 190Ts going to the TAs. The BF109Ds at this point. I'm almost tempted to stop producing the BF109s, but we'll convert the remaining fighters. I think we probably still have a fair amount of them in production, so we'll convert the remaining ones of them. So since we're at it, it's probably a decent time to look at our tanks as well and see if we can make some slight improvement to these. So the veritable Panzerkampfwagen 3 can get a better radio. So that's the Panzerkampfwagen 3B, and we'll save that. That is a minor improvement, so we'll save that for 6. The Flammpanzer we might leave as is, and we can upgrade the Waffenträger 3A to an improved radio, save that for 6 as well, and then upgrade our production lines. We will get new tanks, but in the meantime, we may as well get the. This is again uncomfortable because we are converting the wrong things into the wrong things here. And why am I having two? I think that was supposed to be the Flammpanzer. Yeah, that was supposed to be the Flammpanzer, and that is the Panzerkampfwagen 3B. So that is the one that goes here. Okay. We do have a fair amount of the Waffenträger available, so of course the conversion is again mightily confused. What are we short of? What are we short of at the moment? I think I'm not going to convert anything. I'm just going to build new ones. We've got a fair amount of self-propelled artillery and medium tanks at this point, so it is potentially an opportunity to improve the Mobile Panzerdivision, which is currently 27 width. I did want to get another self-propelled artillery in here, and I think we have just about enough to start reinforcing that. Yeah, so that'll give them. They'll get them up to a good size and give them a decent amount of additional firepower as needed. And they also need the field hospitals. So let's get these set up. There we go. And then the old Panzer division at this point can be decommissioned. We do not need that anymore. And the Auslandsfestungskommando as well is going to get decommissioned. Cavalry division will be eventually converted. And there we go. And we have another infantry that completes the setup of the 9th Army. So future infantry divisions are going to go to different organizations. Okay, we've got an all-around upgrade. And once again, the waiting game continues here. Because I don't think even if we wanted to, I could. No, I can't. I can't start the war myself, even if I wanted to. I think there might be a national focus somewhere. Yeah, Operation Scharnhorst. I need either 75% volt tension or it needs to be August 1940. So we are on the clock, but we can't start anything ourselves yet. And since we've got civilian factories to spare, I can do some more interesting things with the operatives. Actually, now that we have the Abteilung 3B under proper control, passive defense is probably a good one to do. So let's get that up. It's going to be faster due to Admiral Canaris being in charge of Abteilung 3B. And taking care of intelligence operations. 4 more infantry divisions are ready, which means they can they can be assigned to wherever I put it. They can be assigned to the 7th Army under Wilhelm List. I think they were supposed to have. They were in need of another 5 divisions, I believe. So let's get them in here for now, and then we will probably have to start propping up the von Falkenhorst's divisions in Sweden. Can we improve the situation in Sweden, because the supply situation in northern Sweden is atrocious. So I wonder how long it would take us to build a supply hub in the north from which we could potentially launch offensive operations against Norway, or however, taking the south shouldn't be up to Trondheim shouldn't be too much of a trouble, but anything further north is going to be absolutely painful. So let's take a quick look. If we were to build, where do we have railways? We could build a supply hub north near Lapland, and allow us further northern operations. If we were to build one about here-ish, how long would that take with the current? If we were to prioritize that would take until August. That's not actually terrible. So we could improve the supply situation in the north quite significantly. Can we build railways? Yes, we can. So we can build a level 2 railway connection. Let's make that a level 3 railway connection. And all the way to the capital. Okay, and there we go. That should be that is just a preemptive planning for further northern operations, and that'll also help the Swedish divisions to defend themselves against Norwegian incursions better. So let's get that prioritized. Also the railway connection. There we go. So yeah, we get that prioritized and get these built. We have the civilian factories at this point, and that is just planning ahead of time for future operations. Die 3,7 cm Flugzeugabwehrkanone Modell 37, der 37mm anti-aircraft cannon model 1937 is completed, and it is about time, because we are running a little behind on. We were running a little behind on these technologies. However, the next thing I think that we're going to need to start actually building or researching is some naval advances, because we are running quite a bit behind on several of them. So I will. I'm not sure if the war is going to last long enough for us to build new battleships. However, new submarines is something that we're definitely going to be needing. And potentially better cruisers. So we'll start out with the submarines and get these researched. And I think we were using Schichau for the submarines. Let me quickly check where are my submarines? Yes, we're using Schichau-Werke for that. So let's get the advanced submarine researched with the Schichau-Werke for better submarine operations. And we do have to change the production around from the older AA guns, from the 20 millimeters that now has to go into the 37 millimeters. And yeah, they're running under Rheinmetall anyway. Okay. Does that we can convert some of the older chassis from them, which, given that we have a fair amount laying around, might actually not be a terrible idea. That improves the ratio in which we are actually going to get these constructed. So let's convert some of the older equipment and get that done. And that probably also means that we can put better AA on the ships. But I'm not inclined to run a naval refit at this point of the tension increasing, because We don't know when exactly the French, the British, or at this point even soon the Americans are going to start kicking things off. Or who knows, maybe Japan. Talking about which, how is the China war going? China is making progress. They are actually, they have actually encircled the Japanese troops in the north and are moving towards Pyongyang. And that looks like the Korean peninsula is going to be under the Qing government control sooner rather than later. The Germans in East Asia are still short of fighters, short of infantry equipment and support equipment at this point. So let's see if we can send them some material support. Support equipment should not be a huge problem. We're actually relatively close ourselves, so I'll probably not go in there. Infantry equipment, we obviously don't have any laying around. Artillery, they had enough. And fighters, do we have some older Bf-109s to spare? A few. So let's just send them over and deal with that. And the new divisions, I am reinforcing the Swedish front in the north somewhat. So we got them up to 10 divisions, but I don't want to put too much here. I'm probably more inclined to start another army in the east against the Russians. So we'll probably start a new army with the next divisions. So that means we're going to need another 24 infantry divisions. Actually, we're going to create another 16 infantry divisions, and we are going to create, and they will all train in Königsberg. We're going to create 8 Sturmdivision infantry groups. So that gets a somewhat more offensive capable army. And actually, we might create, given that we'll be fighting a two-front war, we might create a few more tank divisions. So let's get another 6 of the Mobile Panzerdivision out in the east for offensive operations against Russia, against the Russian Empire. That we will not be focusing on. So the overall strategic plan, and yes, that'll help. The overall strategic plan is to hold the lines in the east and in the north, potentially take out Norway if possible, so we can focus on defense against Moscow Pact, Moscow Accord incursions. And the main focus of the armed forces, which is why we have the best divisions everywhere positioned here, is to take out France and start the war with the British, really, in earnest, and deal the syndicalists in Europe, the syndicalist line in Europe, a blow. And unfortunately, Josef Jacobs has been captured. He has been apprehended by enemy Communard counterintelligence. Yes, we definitely must mount a rescue operation. We can't be having with that. Did we run? No, we were not running an operation in France right now. So we can pull. Who do we have here? Simon Leboeuf on a rescue mission. We should have enough. So that doesn't compromise anything else. There she is, Simone Leboeuf, and she can go and rescue the captured operative. She will be using a diplomatic passport to get in, and he is being kept in a prison camp. So she's going to be meeting up with a small unit of people. She is a commando, so she does have some experience in these kind of clandestine operations. She'll be mounting an attack on the camp, kill the guards, liberate the agents, and then they will move north towards the coast, where they will be picked up by a submarine and then brought back to Germany, either through the Channel or through the Ireland route in the north, given that's where the submarines are currently stationed. The Unterseebootflotte is stationed. We do also have enough command power to, I think, who's the last person? Admiral Karls, who is in charge of the 4th Aufklärungsgruppe, which is the Indian Ocean stationed group of relatively outdated ships. he's a blockade runner, so lone wolf or concealment expert. I think because I'm going to be using his group for raiding operations, I am going to give him the lone wolf trait, and then we can actually take since we are going to what do we have here? We have 4 capital ships, but we are going to use them as commerce raiders. So we might actually split these groups up a little bit. So let's see. If we're going to take the 2 Admiral Share class, let's see what these look like. These are they'll be they're old ships, so they're not going to be necessarily used against anything else but commerce raiding. In which case, we probably don't even need escorts for them. But if they are faced with, we do want them to overcome convoy escorts. So we don't want to let them operate independently. So we're going to take these 2. One of the Brummer class light cruisers. So there's 2 of them. So they need. Let's give them 8 escorts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, and we'll create the 1 group here, and then the other group. These 2 groups, so we've got them split up. So that's the 4th. We are going to designate that as the 1st Kreuzergeschwader. That is the 1st cruiser squadron, which is somewhat in line with how things were traditionally organized, and that is the 2nd Kreuzergeschwader. There we go, and we have a new submarine which can join the 5th Unterseeboot Flotilla. I'm going to set these to. I think I had these to automatic reinforcement, so. That should work out, okay. And we are short on, what are we short on? Aluminium. So we do need to trade for some more aluminium from German East Asia. And that should be pretty much all the aluminium we need. But we can also start excavating some more aluminium to improve the situation at home at some point. Everything here is in progress. We are still infiltrating the Russian army. And the rest of them are building intelligence works in Russia. So we can we start a second operation actually? I'm more interested to start a prepare collaboration government in France. Can we get that going? So we might pull the operatives out of Russia for now. So right now we have Kurt Weiss and Christina Skorbeck, but we should have we still have Simone Leboeuf in France, so she can work with she is a Polish national. Yeah, that might be quite inconspicuous. So let's get the let's prepare a collaboration government using Christina Skorbeck. And hang on, I thought we sent Simone Leboeuf on the rescue mission. Yeah. Oh, they're still preparing. Okay, so she can't actually go herself. Okay, so we'll pull 2 agents from Russia to start preparing contacts with the French resistance, and make sure that. We are going to be, we meet up with some sympathetic politicians, discuss possibilities of new governments being formed, and start working out the details. That is going to cost us some support equipment, some infantry equipment, and 13 civilian factories. But it's good to start preparing these things early, and they will be flown out eventually. So we'll get that going. And that hopefully makes the eventual occupation of France easier for the empire. because we do need to deal with the fact that they have been under syndicalist occupation for such a long time that the liberation of France is going to be an interesting factor indeed. Deutsche Waffen- und Munitionsfabrik, that is for support equipment, I believe. So production efficiency gain for support equipment doesn't really help us because support equipment doesn't actually get any upgrades. It leads to 5% production output, however. That would give us 5% research bonus, or this is for infantry equipment which we're not using it for. So not too much that we've got to do here. We can, I don't see the, it's production output that comes after that. Yeah, so we can do the production efficiency gain and then just 5% production output potentially, or we get the research bonus from here. Alternatively, we just grab the research bonus directly. Let's grab the research bonus directly, and that will help with some research where we use that, which is not going to be much. But if we're going down the support companies, I think when we research these, we can use the Deutsche Waffen- und Munitionsfabrik. However, we can also use Opel for certain ones, so it'll always depend. But they're there, so it gives us research speed, which is good. So let's go with that. German fuel reserves have fallen to about 800,000 tons, and that means we are probably going to have to start slowly importing fuel from Azerbaijan, because that is where the Dutch East Indies actually might be also not uninteresting. German East Asia has some fuel to give, so we'll probably start with that then and take the fuel from German East Asia, so it stays within. That gives us additional oil, and that is not quite enough. So that's not quite enough to stop the outflow, I believe. Yeah, it's not enough. So let's get some more from Azerbaijan. We'll get one additional factory, and it still slows it down. Yeah, how many do we need? 2. We're obviously not in combat operations, but that seems to have mostly stopped it. All right. Other more important and interesting developments. South Africa wishes to join the Reichspakt. Of course, they are very much welcome. And I've never met a nice South African. Very much untrue. South Africa is very nice. Of course, we will welcome them in the Republic of South Africa and the Reichspakt. That has brought most of Africa under German control, actually. And there's just Ethiopia and Somalia left. Given that Ethiopia looks like it is struggling, I am inclined to start sending some support. So we could, given that Ethiopia is once again is probably not a great terrain, but the Somalia is relatively open. I can't spare any of the armored divisions, but let's ask send volunteers. Can we send the 10th Army and air volunteers to Ethiopia and assist them against Somalia? I think the first and most important part that I can do is send some of the Heinkels over. So let's get the Kampfschulgeschwader south if they have an airport. But we can't send them yet because they haven't arrived yet. So once they're in place, then we'll send them south. We do have some political power, but not yet. First, we can recruit a Lithuanian or an Ottoman operative, which neither of which are particularly appealing. I would have been more interested to get a Russian operative or a British. Alternatively, we have a master saboteur that we can get. Willy Braun sounds actually good. He comes from a military background, so any kind of infiltration missions he's going to be predestined, and he's pretty good at holding speeches as well. So we'll get him in, and he can start building an intelligence network, because we have just we're still building. Yeah, we need one in the UK as well. So we'll send him to London, and we will try to gain some intelligence there. And we have many decisions available, none of which I think, eventually we'll be having to create the North American. Maybe it's the Asian section for Russians. That could be. Could contribute to the Suez Canal, but I'm not particularly keen on that right now. That would just give us building slots, be nice, kind of. But not using political power for that just now. I think the next one we're going to go for is extensive conscription. However, we have to break down the rules of legislation first to make that happen. So, alternatively, we can use the political power to get somebody in military high command, or to replace Kurt von Hammerstein-Eckwart. So that might actually be interesting. Let's see if we can get. Who was I going to get as chief of army? I think von Rundstedt was having the army offense specialist. That might be actually quite. He is having the defensive doctrine, however. So as an entrenchment specialist, that might also be quite interesting to get him in as chief of army, just to improve the overall defense that we're having. But I'm kind of slowly starting to be tempted again towards offensive operations as well. He is only level 3, and Hammerstein-Eckwart already has the role, and Blomberg is also level 3, but he is already a Werner von Blomberg could be coming in as army drill expert, but I'm not particularly interested in that one. So I think replacing him, we don't have the command power for that, but replacing him would be interesting. Alternatively, we have a position in the military high command. So who could we get into the military high command? Given that we are very much an infantry army, we could see if there's anybody available for an interesting military high command role. So, for example, Friedrich Paulus could become an infantry specialist, and then we could get him into military high command just for division attack and defense general, which I think is not a bad thing, given that we're mostly operating with infantry at this point. It's not bad. So let's get him. Let's give him the infantry specialist role for military high command, and then we can we can do that already because he's only a specialist. Yeah, then we can immediately, once we have 30 command power, we can get him in, but we'll just have to wait for the command power to build up, and then we can use the additional political power for other things when it comes up. There are decisions available that we can take. I don't see them. What's available? It must just be the intelligence recruitment. I'll be already sending the Kampfschulgeschwader towards Djibouti, and then it's easy to start operating out of Ethiopia. There is no enemy air force, so the single bomber wing should be more than enough to deal with the Somalians on the ground. We just have to wait for the volunteer force to arrive, which is going to be on June 10. So let's see if we can still turn this war around for the Ethiopians before before things kick off in earnest. I'm thinking of just trying to break through their lines towards south towards Mogadishu, and just break rather than trying to encircle and destroy Somalian troops here. But maybe we'll do that as well. We'll see how that ends up. Meanwhile, the Gotha Waggonfabrik, which we are using for what again? Gotha Waggonfabrik would be for the heavy bombers, yeah, and for the Focke-Wulfs. So definitely strategic bombers. And we have an additional trade point. We have taken, I think, the extended rear fuselage for now. So we can get additional range. Strategic bombing plus 5%, or for going for the naval. I think we're going to go for the auto-leveled bomb sites here, and we're not yet going to assign these traits because we're going to get new airframes anyway soon. Everybody in Europe notices that something is in the air. Bulgaria, after we have helped them win against the Belgrade Pact, is now asking for an alliance. Victorious in their conflicts across the Balkans, Bulgaria has decided to petition us for an alliance between the two of our nations, citing the turbulent atmosphere of Europe and the rest of the world, claiming that an alliance between our two nations will help with furthering mutual defense. What is our response? Absolutely. Yes, we accept. Bulgaria has joined the Reichspakt, and with that, which is a natural extension of the Ottoman line. And with that, and I think Romania, yeah, I'm not sure why these are all independent after we had conquered everything, but we have a potential, just in case there's any trouble with the Donau-Adria-Bund, we have a potential ally in the south in the Reichspakt to assist. The Flottenverein, the fleet group, Navy League, has been activated and will assist with the propaganda support. So now we can break down the what did that actually do? Gives us recovery rate 10% dockyard output, which is great to have. So harder works happening in the dockyards. We're now going to break down the rules of legislation, which is going to reduce the conscription law's cost by 50%. And then we can change the conscription law once that's complete. And then can we already move towards war economy? We cannot, obviously. But I think we can start saving up 150 political power relatively soon once war breaks out. We're just waiting for the command power. However, one thing I want to do is change state service to military into professional officer corps, which is going to assist with both with doctrines and with command power gains. So that's all falling into place. Right, the 10th Army under Eberhard von Mackensen has arrived in Ethiopia, and we are going to assign Werner von Blomberg as their field marshal. Right now, the more important part is that we can send, we should be able to send the Air Force over, but that does not seem to be the case. Can we just give close air support over Ethiopian territory from here then? Let's see if that works. Where are the divisions? They're in the north, so we are going to, what's the situation? We definitely need to retake Harar, I think, and destroy the portion here of the Somalian forces before we are moving further. So we're going to assist with the assault towards retaking Harar. That's going to be our first mission, and take the railways there. Now the interesting question would be. No, because we're not engaged. The second Kampfschulgeschwader is not actually going to do anything just yet. But once the divisions are in place, we are going to join combat, and actually we might have to evict the divisions here in the east first. Maybe we can. Maybe we can create a break towards Berbera. I'm just concerned about the Ethiopian capital, but they seem to be relatively stable here. So let's see if we can make something happen towards the east. Let's concentrate our forces here and make sure that we have motorized supply. We are relatively far away from any kind of supply line, so taking the port in Berbera might actually be a good first step, and then we can try to encircle the forces in Harar. We will see, but I might be able to. We don't know an awful lot, so the Djibouti air base that is obviously not part of. Well, it's currently a part of the first Luftflotte, but that is temporary. We should have a couple of scout planes around. Do we? 11s. Yep, there. We've got 7 scout planes. So let's get a scout wing up and see if we can gain some intelligence from Somalia, and see if that. And yep, there comes immediately the first counterattack. And now we should have the. This is actually on Somalian territory, so we're going to get the Kampfschulgeschwader to join battle here, and hopefully this works, because I can't actually contribute the air force directly. So let's see if that's going to happen. Anyway, Mitteleuropa. What are we getting? We can either get industrial advisors, which is factory output, or an additional building slot. We are starting to run a little low on building slots, so but 5% factory output globally is pretty spicy. So let's go with that. And I think the Heinkels are not necessarily engaging because they are not operating from within an airbase, but they're operating from an airbase outside, which is given that we are not actually at war with Somalia, meaning that under international rules they cannot effectively engage, which is a bit of a shame. But we will try once we have defeated the counterattack, and we are obviously very much at the supply limit here, which is a little unfortunate. We could get supply out of Djibouti, but again, for political reasons, can't do this. It might be. Maybe we can find better positions in the south. Not too sure about that, but let's see. Okay, has been defeated. They're still attacking here into the enemy positions, and I don't think they are particularly powerful, but neither is our cavalry. So let them regain some organization, and then we will attempt, despite the fact that they are relatively low on supply, then we will attempt an assault on and see if we can push towards the port at Berbera. And I think we might just close off the cut off the enemy in Harar from, because they are getting pushed back right now. Cut off the enemy in Harar from supply, and let's see if we can join that. If we can join that combat here. And yeah, we are not getting the Heinkels involved, which is very unfortunate. Simply probably because we are not. Yeah, we're not able to contribute them to the fight, maybe. And counterattack immediately from the east. So stop to defeat the counterattacks first. So if we can't get the Heinkels involved, then unfortunately this is going to be a lot harder than it would be otherwise. We'll do our best. We'll see where we get an opportunity to counterattack. For now, the Ethiopians have been pushed back towards Dire Dawa, but more divisions among the left. But right now we are just getting incessantly assaulted here, which I am okay with. And the Pacific States of America were annexed. So that means the American Civil War is over. The Pacific States of America have capitulated. It appears that the Pacific States government is on its last legs. Most of its land has been swallowed up, and they have made contact with the enemy, which means that all of the Americas are now part of the Third International, which is terrifying, but well, everyone in the world is currently picking their sides, really. So there's not an awful lot that we can do about it at this point. The civil war is over, and we will try to counterattack southwards here. And yeah, the end of the American Civil War. We'll try to counterattack southwards. Let's see what the newspapers have to say about this. The Second American Civil War, the bloodiest conflict to ever descend on the New World, is over. And as sobbing widows bury their dead husbands and sons, the last traces of the old regimes are being swept away by the American Revolution, headed by the combined syndicates of America. The old capitalist system is being dissolved and replaced with an organization similar to that of France and Britain, and the red-black banner now flies over the former Congress, soon to be converted to the Congress of the Syndicates. The CSA has already strained its relations with Canada, and it already looks forward to becoming the vanguard of syndicalism in the New World. America, it has changed forever. Forever, I am not sure, but obviously the Entente, the old Entente, is not particularly in favor of that kind of thing. So we will see if there's a war going to break out between the Canadians and the combined syndicates. But right now we are focused on the conflict in Ethiopia, where we are going to try and launch a counterattack against the Eastern forces. Okay, there we go. And counterattack against the Eastern forces. It would be great if we could get air supply, but it seems like that's not the case. And the fact that we are very much out of von Mackensen's troops are very much out of supply makes this significantly harder than it otherwise would be. But hopefully the Ethiopians can assist with this assault here, and we can get another operative. Unfortunately, again, not really anything interesting. So I am going to just have a quick look on who we have. Franz Schulze. He's good for resistance contacts. That might actually be something we can do more frequently. So I think he's a good choice for running resistance operations. But for now, he is going to take over the French intelligence networks while we have the operations ongoing, and we can. We're still running the army infiltration here, so in Russia, so we're not going to start another operation just yet. But we can probably soon begin another one. We do have 2 operatives in Russia, so maybe we can run a parallel operation in Russia. We could try to let's see if we can. Do we have enough? We have enough to make resistance contacts, but not enough for anything else. We could infiltrate the Russian Air Force just for some additional intelligence there. Or we could start for some sabotage missions. That might also not be a bad thing to do. But I think infiltrating the Russian Air Force is a good option. So we can send the 2 operatives who are currently... Who's that? We've got Kurt Weiss and Christina. So we can send her and Kurt Weiss to start infiltrating the enemy air force, and we'll see what we can learn about the Russians in the air and how that will help us with our operations. But meanwhile, in Ethiopia, we are going to need some assistance from Ethiopian troops when it comes to this counterattack here, because the cavalry divisions are not very effective as they stand, with being at the edge of their supply positions here. If we can't get any assistance from Ethiopian troops, then we will have to abandon this offensive and look for a different vector in which we can attack. But I was really hoping that we would be able to get the second Kampfgeschwader involved, but it is alas not to be. So we might as well ground them for now. And we will send them back to Europe because that's probably where they're going to be needed more. So back to the airbase in Alsace-Lorraine, and we'll leave the Aufklärungsgeschwader here just in case they do something useful. But we have a research slot available, and that is going to go towards the MG39. What else do we do? Definitely have to start upgrading some of the techs here. Logistics company is very tempting for the tank divisions, just to reduce the amount of equipment that they are, the amount of supply that they need. Additional recon would be quite nice. Engineers are still ahead of time. How are we on industrial research? I think it is time that we are starting to trade to some significance for resources, especially aluminium. It would actually be probably not a terrible idea to get excavation 2 going. So let's do that. Let's finish that up. And we have Mauser for infantry equipment. What are we going to get? I think last time we went towards semi-automatic rifles. Oh yeah, we can actually set a policy for Mauser. Yes, that is something we can do. So let's see what we can get here. 20% research bonus, a plus 20% research bonus. That is actually quite tempting. Ruthless contract for additional funds gain or 10% reliability. 20% research bonus on infantry equipment will be quite interesting. So that's something we can set. Right now I'm saving up political power until we can finish up our conscription law. But what are we going to get for infantry equipment? I think production efficiency gain isn't helping me particularly, but we could go down the heavy anti-armor ammunition for a 10% heart attack and 25% piercing. Yeah, given that we'll be facing tanks relatively soon, that is probably not bad. And we're going to update the equipment accordingly, which means we are going to change our Schnellfeuergewehr. Is it Schnellfeuergewehr? Schnellladegewehr? Something like that. And we're going to get that to the infantry equipment too. There we go. BF 109s. We have some. We have some of the Dorniers that can. Yeah, the Dorniers can go and convert the old equipment. Everything else is still busy and under construction. There we go. All right. What have we got? We're waiting for 30 command power, and then we can get Friedrich Paulus as infantry specialist, and we're waiting for the rules of legislation to break down to do the conscription laws, and then we can set some policies. Here in Ethiopia, I think we are not necessarily going to break through unless the Ethiopians are going to significantly reinforce us. They are reinforcing us, in fact. So we are getting Ethiopian firepower here in the theater as well. We are positive on a net positive on fuel again, which is good. So let's see if we can manage. Yeah, the Ethiopians are rushing headfirst into the enemy defenses. They are quite substantial defensive positions here, but we'll see if we can dig them out, which means we could encircle the Somalian infantry near Harar and completely cut them off and destroy them, which would be a quite significant break, even if the war starts and we will be getting recalled here. In terms of aircraft production, I think the Bf 109D, I am at this point probably just going to increase the amount of increase the amount of Focke-Wulfs. Where are my Focke-Wulfs? Where's my Focke-Wulf production line? There's the Focke-Wulf production line. So we'll increase that to 20 and remove the Bf 109D production line in its entirety, and then the other factories can go to the Focke-Wulfs, right? And they can start building up their production efficiency as well. There we go. And the assault here is making gains, mostly due to the fact that the Ethiopians are throwing themselves into the breaches here. But unfortunately, enemy troops are retreating from Harar, where they are under assault. And they are then reinforcing the lines in the hills here. So this battle is nowhere near won. But we have everyone committed at this point, and we will see if we can manage to storm these hills before either side runs out of steam and needs to take a break. It'll be ideal if the Ethiopian divisions in the south would actually support this rather than trying to retake Harar, but the Ethiopians are fighting here without regard for loss of life. So, well, we'll see how it develops. Right now, it's still very much anyone's battle, and the fortunes are still swinging back and forth. In fact, it is getting so crowded that we are actually taking some penalties because there's just not enough space to maneuver. Okay, the Sonderkraftfahrzeug, the special powered vehicle 11, is complete. We have captured where's she from? There's an Indian operative. Okay, yeah. We definitely have ways of making her talk. But that means we can now start the production of the... Where is it? Is it here? Yeah, it's here. The Sonderkraftfahrzeug 11. And we can actually... We don't have the experience, but we can... they have Opel assigned already, because it's the only one that's available. Okay, we can eventually improve that a little bit, but for now we are just going to get the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 11 constructed, and that'll go at the bottom of the production line at this point. Probably going to get 10 military factories on that. We are building armored trains finally after a long period, and we have started the construction of another railway gun, the 38mm railway guns. I don't think there is anything we can do here. No, there's nothing we can do here. All right, so yeah, we'll be starting mechanized equipment, and we'll be upgrading our divisions as things go. But for now, we do have a trade deficit now in tungsten, so we are going to need to start importing tungsten from German East Asia. We already are importing tungsten from German East Asia, so we are going to need 2 factories on that, and that gives us significantly more tungsten than we currently need. But we also have a research slot available. What needs to happen? I am thinking that we also need improved. We also need to. How are we distributed right now? We're doing improved tank chassis, and I think for a new generation of tanks, we probably need to focus on big guns at this point. This gives me the medium howitzer. Where can I get the improved medium cannon? That is still somewhat away. That's a heavy cannon. That is a regular medium cannon, and that is the heavy cannon as well. Okay, so there's not an awful lot to gain here just now, and instead we are that is for just anti-tank, which we don't really have. Instead, we're probably going to get the improved large airframes going as well. Improved air-launched torpedoes. There's a lot of stuff we need to do in the air. Alternatively, we can build. More radar actually is more radar and radio technology is also something that needs to happen. So let's get that done. And Opel, yes, Opel now starts going into the mechanized branch. So what can we grab here? 3% breakthrough for everything is good. Reliability or yeah, increased reliability would be nice as well. 2% heart attack, 10% piercing, 3% breakthrough. I'll take it. And that means, yeah, we'll upgrade them since we are just starting. So that means this line here is not that line. Can we do this on trucks actually? Oh, we haven't actually assigned Opel to the truck. How did I miss that? Okay, let's do that. And that means the Opel trucks, why are they outdated? Do I have to just replace that with the truck? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, convert. That'll just, I'm not sure what that improves on the trucks, but I've completely missed that. And yes, the Sonderkomfort 11 is going into here. And I did upgrade the AA, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, so at least I'm not completely incompetent. Right. Yeah, we are going to have to start working on some excavation tech soon to deal with our trade deficit. We're doing that already here. And so let's see before we end the episode, let's see if this operation here can succeed or not. It really is at the edge of everything. And if we could get air support, that would be huge. But these divisions have a relatively good amount of defense. However, it looks like one of them is, yeah, again they're getting reinforcements from Harar. One of them is about to break, but then again new reinforcements have arrived. So I think the assault here, we're gonna abort the assault here because we're about to retake Harar, which hopefully sorts out we're not getting to the encirclement, so let's let the divisions rest. And the Polish government has assigned a lucrative contract with major domestic industrial conglomerate, 67 political power and 2% stability. I'll take it. I think that was something that happened a long time ago. So last things we do. We have unfulfilled import requests. Which ones are they? Germany East Asia. I am not entirely certain what it is that they're not fulfilling, but we'll wait for a bit and see if that sorts itself out. We are producing mechanized, which we don't have a template for, I know. And Focke-Wulf gets another upgrade. That would be the stiffened wings for speed and agility. Yes, we are definitely going to spend that to get the improved versions. And that means I am going to, because it didn't do that automatically, I'm going to have to do that by hand, don't I? Yes, I probably will. So the Focke-Wulf 190A, which has been already upgraded, is now the Focke-Wulf 190A1. And that is the TA1. I think these were the two with Focke-Wulf as a designer, I believe. Yes. Yep, that is it. So we can replace the production lines accordingly with, where is it? That is going to be the TA1, and that is the 90A1. There we go. Okay. And then, yep, then I think we are pretty much set. So the assault in Ethiopia to encircle the division in Harar has not succeeded, mainly to the political reasons that the Ethiopian government did not allow us to bring heavy bombers onto their airfields, and the airfields maybe are just also too short to operate them from there. So let's go with that. We are in July. The Navy is slowly getting ready. We're having a couple of ships that can be reassigned here. That's another submarine. So let's start another group. This was the 5th Unterseeblot Flottille, and then we can make that obviously the 6th. Okay. and they do need the according symbol because we do want order here. What else do we have? It's another submarine, and we've got another submarine here, and this one can become another escort group. So this is going to be the 7th Geleitgruppe, and there we go, 7th Geleitgruppe. You get the transport ship, and then that can be, and you are going to go on convoy escort as well. So we are starting to have convoy escort efficiency. So slowly but surely, but we're still very far away from that. So producing more convoy escorts is something that is definitely needed. We've got one line on building these, so I'm actually tempted to, given how low our convoy escort efficiency right now is, I'm tempted to start just the second line here. So let's get the, where were they? That would be destroyers, the V170A under Blom and Voss, and they get automatically assigned to. I'll manually build them up until we have enough. But we've got 2 more ships. 2 more submarines, they can join this group, and this one obviously needs to start exercising as well. All right, so what do we have? Another one, Germania Werft. Germania Werft is being used for cruisers, I think. Yeah, for the cruisers. So let's see what we can get here. Surface visibility, 5% torpedo attack, and then we get production output. Okay, that's the route we wanted to take. All right. Not yet going to reassign that. We'll upgrade them when we get to it. And we have sufficient political power that we can get Friedrich Paulus as an infantry specialist. Oh, we already have an infantry specialist. Oh, that's unfortunate. I haven't paid attention. We already have Werner von Blomberg as an infantry expert. That is slightly unfortunate. We could just replace him because is he one of my generals? Let's see. We have Blomberg. Yeah, he's one of my field marshals, Werner von Blomberg. Okay, so that actually does not make an awful lot of sense then to replace him. In that case, we can get somebody else in. So not Paulus. I haven't paid attention there. Not von Mackensen. We could get. Let's see what else we can do. I'm sure we have a general somewhere who can get an additional role. We can get a logistics specialist in for supply consumption. That would be interesting. Model would be infantry specialist as well, so that's not something we want to do. And the other ones don't have the skill levels yet. Günther von Kluge could become regrouping or armor specialist. For additional reinforce rate, that would not be bad. Everyone else here, and von Rundstedt does not have. He's a field marshal. He does not have the military high command roles. Yeah, it might be interesting to get von Kluge as an armor specialist in, but I think we probably already have somebody. So let's see. So right now we've got Robert von Greim for air superiority. We've got Blomberg for infantry, and in that regard, we probably then we could put von Manstein in just simply as an armor expert for armor divisions, because we are using these quite a bit. Von Brauchitsch would be kind of interesting, but that is very expensive. I think von Manstein is a good choice here. So let's get him in as an armor specialist. Yeah, I haven't been paying attention. Mistakes were made, but that means we are pretty much done here, and we're just waiting for, okay, let's wait for the 1 day. We do have 3 dockyards, so we can get another production line going. What has completed here navally? We are going to need more. We are going to need more destroyers in the second Schlachtgeschwader. What's our current ratio? We've got 7 capital ships. So yeah, more light cruisers as well. What do we currently have here? We've got 4 Rhein-class light cruisers, but we can probably build another one of those. So get me. Let's take a look at the Rhein-class and see if we can just upgrade that. Upgrade everything here, and they can actually get radar. They could get radar for improved surface detection, but we're not operating them as on a scouting on scouting operations. So I think we're good here. And yes, obviously I need to copy that again because I'm a little behind in versions. So Rhein class A, upgrade everything. Upgrade everything, and that is the Rhein class B. There we go. And we're going to get another one of these under Germania Werft going. And they will be joining the second Schlachtgeschwader. There we go. And that occupies our naval dockyards. The Graf Zeppelins are going to come online soon. In the next, going to come online in the next year. I thought they were already coming in this year, but yeah, that's. Oh no, that's. Okay, I might have missed something because I thought the Graf Zeppelins were already coming in 1940, but that seems not to be the case. They're still under construction until 1941. However, we do have the SMS Elsass and some of the more modern battle cruisers. So we do have some capacity here, and we're building up our submarine groups. We're potentially going to need a submarine stationed near Africa, or we might need Mediterranean operations. We will see how that all turns out. But for now, mostly destroyers, light cruisers, and screens, because that's where we're a little bit short. Anyway, been doing this for long enough. I think we are getting very, very close to the Second Weltkrieg. We'll see if we can still make something happen in Ethiopia, but otherwise, well, it was best effort, and the troops will return to their lines in Azerbaijan eventually, where and to defend there against Russian incursions. And yeah, we're still training up a fair amount of divisions. We still have to improve the conscription laws, but we have a good amount of manpower available at this point as well. So I don't think manpower is going to be a problem for the Empire. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.